from the Stellar Development Foundation. He'll be doing a talk on instant liquidity with Kelp, a trading bot on centralized exchanges and Stellar's Decentralized Exchange. And I'll let him take it from here.
Hi, I'm Nikhil. Thanks, Shinju. So this talk is going to be about instant liquidity with Kelp trading bot on centralized exchanges and Stellar's DEX. So, sorry, my slides are not moving ahead. Yeah. So first, we're going to go over what is Kelp. Then we're going to dive right into a live demo on how to create instant liquidity with Kelp. Then we're going to talk about trading templates and centralized exchanges, then Stellar's DEX, and then you have a chance to get links to try it for yourself. So what is Kelp? Kelp is an automated trading and liquidity bot that allows anyone to create instant liquidity on any supported trading platform. So this is an example of a market where you have very wide spreads. As you can see, it's about 10%. You have shallow markets, so it's really hard to move a lot of money around in this market or do larger trades because you'll get a lot of slippage. And as you can see on the right-hand side, there's no trades as a result of this illiquid market. So I think it's very important to have a liquid market, and for that reason, this is bad. Some of the advantages of having a liquid market are that when you want to convert one asset to another, there is a ready market for you to make that trade. For someone who's looking to provide liquidity to various markets, they can capture the spread. This might be useful for token issuers or professional market makers or individuals looking to use an automated trading system to automate their trades. So let's see what a market looks like when you add Kelp to an existing market. So as you can see, the order book has a lot more trades, and there's narrower spreads, closer to 0.27% in this case. There's deeper markets, and as a result of that, there's many trades. So this is what a healthy market looks like. Now, here are some of the features of Kelp. So Kelp is integrated with 100 centralized exchanges. There are 5 trading templates with configuration files out of the box. You can even code your proprietary trading strategies and custom exchange integrations. It was open sourced in summer 2018, and it's licensed under Apache 2. There's a Golang command line client and a React.js GUI that is currently experimental. So there are some advantages to using Golang versus many other bots which are written in either Node.js, Python, or maybe C++, which is harder for developers to work with. Kelp is also available on various platforms like Windows, Linux, Mac, Raspberry Pi, and Docker. So you really have pretty much a lot of what you need to run a trading bot wherever you want. So now let's dive into the live demo of Kelp. So I've downloaded the Kelp binary from the website, which I'll show you later on. So the first thing you want to do is you want to untar this file. Okay. So as you can see, it's made its own folder, and we can go in there. Okay. So when you open up this folder, you get the Kelp binary, and you also get various sample files that make it easier for you to work with Kelp. So that's the first thing you want to do when you run Kelp. So you can actually just run Kelp straight up by running the main command. So this is run one iteration of the Kelp bot. But I think this might be leaving some questions unanswered, like, well, what account was it running on? Where is it running? So the reason we have that is just to show you how easy it is to get started with running a trading bot. So let's customize this bot a little bit. So our secret keys are listed in the sample trader file. So let's edit that. So again, this is on the test network. So I have some secret keys over here that I'm going to copy. Hard to get these secret keys right. And we want to trade on the XLM USD market. And for this example, we're trading on the Stellar Decentralized Exchange, but this can again be, you can use Binance, Kraken, or any other exchange to trade on this as well. The Stellar Decentralized Exchange has the concept of token issuers. So that's why for this USD token, we specified this token issuer account. And since XLM is a native token, we haven't specified any issuer. And there's various features you get with this. But one thing I'd like to cover is so we have this trading exchange field, which is what you can use to set a different trading account, as well as the exchange parameters here, like the API keys and all of those things that are required to run on a centralized exchange. So now that we've set our market and our account, which is the Stellar Decentralized Exchange account, let's try and run the balance strategy. So the market that we're trying to run for is out here. So this is the test network of one of the front ends to the Stellar Decentralized Exchange. As you can see, there's no market available. So if I wanted to convert XLM to this USD token, it would not be possible. So let's see what happens once I run the Kelp bot. So let's try that again. All right, so it looks like it was able to confirm the order. So let's go back to the exchange. Hit refresh. So we successfully placed 2 orders at a very narrow spread of 0.1%. So let's see what else we can do with this now. So if you notice this command, there's two config files that we're passing in. One is a sample trader file, and then the other one is a sample balanced file, which contains details of the balanced strategy. So let's edit that. So there's a very important configuration out here, which is the max levels. So as you notice, we only had 2 levels on either side of the order book. So let's change this to 24. Let's run that again. All right. So this is going to now sleep for, in our configuration, about 4.5 to 5 minutes, and it's going to run another round. We don't need to go through that. So let's take a look at the market again. All right. So now we see a market that is way more liquid, a lot deeper, and this is something that we could continue running. So yeah, that's an example of how we run the Kelp trading bot. Let's go into the GitHub page, which is where you can get the Kelp bot. So when you go to github.com/stellarkelp, there's a releases tab. So this is what you can use to download Kelp. In fact, we just did a release of v1.10.0 today. We introduced a new trading strategy, new trading templates like the pendulum template and the sell TWAP template, which we'll talk about. And you can access it for all the platforms that we discussed. You can get a lot of documentation help from the README file, which is quite comprehensive. So for example, you can get information about how to compile Kelp from source. So there's a few instructions there. Then how to run Kelp, including the various commands that you can run, including the help command in the command line tool, which gives you more information. How you can use the CCXD REST library to serve as a gateway to access over 100 trading exchanges. How you can set up Postgres to ingest trades that your bot has made, so you can use this for various records. We also have some walkthrough guides for each of the trading templates that we have. This allows you to have a step-by-step instruction of how to set up the bot with the various configurations. Sample configuration files, like we saw in the command line tool. We recently held a educational contest called Stellar Battle, which ended last month. And here were some of the entries, including the 2 winning entries, that gives you information on how to think about trading bots and Kelp in particular. There's also a section on the community, which is a way in which you can ask a lot of questions from various other users of Kelp and get involved in various ways. So I've been told that most of the audience consists of developers, so I think it would be useful to go over this part. So a lot of people ask me how they can create their own trading strategies using Kelp. And to make that easier, I've set up a pull request, which is a sample of how people can create their own trading logic in the Kelp bot. So there's really 4 parts to this. We won't really go into too much detail, but what I want to highlight here is that the main interface for creating a trading strategy in Kelp is this one very simple function. Again, this is written in Golang right now, and very soon we'll be adding support for multiple languages for the strategy part as well. So now this function takes in the value of your base asset and the number of units of your quote or counter asset, and you need to return a list of levels, where a level is just a price and an amount, and that's all you need to do. The bot takes care of the rest of how you plug that those levels into the exchange. How does it deal with existing open offers? How does it convert open offers or orders to existing to the desired offers? How does it handle trades? How does it notify your bot about trades? There's some more sophisticated hooks that you get on what to do when you get trade alerts in the bot. and various things. So if you really want, you can customize this bot to really whatever extent you want. So that brings me to the end of the demo. So let's talk about some of the trading templates and centralized exchanges support in Kelp. So we have 4 general categories of trading templates. The first one being the AMM templates. So that's the automated market maker templates. So we saw the balanced template. There's also the pendulum template, which narrows down the price band that you can use to trade, which allows you to concentrate your liquidity in a certain price band. We have the mirror template, which allows you to mirror an order book from another exchange while taking the arbitrage between the lower liquidity exchange and the higher liquidity exchange, essentially performing exchange arbitrage to port liquidity from the liquid exchanges to the less liquid exchanges. We have price feed based strategies such as the buy sell strategy that allows you to price your bids and asks based on a dynamic price feed. We have the TWAP strategy, which is an execution based strategy using the time weighted average price. And you can take some of these components from various templates and combine them to build your own custom trading strategy, or use the ones that we have with some customizations. So Kelp currently supports trading on various exchanges such as Binance, Poloniex, Kraken, Coinbase, and over 100 more with the CCXG REST crypto API. It's one of the few trading bots written in Golang that allows you the speed and ease of development, like with Golang, along with such a wide array of exchange integrations. Let's go into the Stellar DEX. So for a lot of people, they don't know that Stellar has their own built-in decentralized exchange. Tokens are issued on Stellar in a permissionless manner. You can exchange any token directly for any other token. This means that you don't need to go through a token such as Bitcoin or USD or any other token. You can trade directly between 2 tokens. So this means that you might have tighter spreads. We also have a very unique feature called path payments, which is an atomic multi-leg trade. So if you wanted to go from Bitcoin to XLM to USD, you could do that in an atomic fashion. So you're never left holding the intermediary asset. So this is useful if, say, for example, you wanted to service a payment corridor where someone wants to pay from euros to Philippine peso. You could stand in the middle there and make the spread between those markets by making markets with currencies in the middle of those, the direct corridor, while providing liquidity to those independent markets as well. Stellar also has very low trading fees at 0.00001 XLM per operation. Stellar has multiple front ends because the Stellar API, it really is just the back end, and many developers have built front ends that serve as a more user-friendly way to interface with the decentralized exchange. An example of those are StellarX, there's Interstellar Exchange, there's Stellar Port, and there's many more. The Stellar DEX has many tokens that are issued in broad categories such as fiat tokens, various token offerings, as well as crypto tokens. We have fiat tokens such as Euro and USD, and also USDC recently announced only last week that they will be issuing their tokens on Stellar as an official blockchain starting early next year. So that brings it to the end of my presentation. You can use this link to get to download Kelp, and I'm happy to take any questions. So I think the first question is, can you tell us a bit more about the CCXG REST API? So yeah, CCXT REST is there's a very popular trading library written in Node.js and Python called CCXT, and that is completely open source. The development community has come together to create a REST wrapper around that library to offer support for languages that are not Python and Node.js. Um, what Kelp does is we depend on CCXT REST as an API to serve as a gateway for interfacing with the various exchanges. We have a direct integration with Kraken, and soon we'll also be adding WebSocket support for Binance. But CCXT REST serves as a base layer that we can use to interface with 100 different exchanges.
Cool. Can you talk a little bit about how Stellar thinks about liquidity versus how Ethereum does? Because like it's a little different, which is why DEXs and trading bots work a little differently on Stellar versus on Ethereum. Like, can you talk
Yeah.
about anchors and like how Stellar onboards anchors and market makers, and then why that provides liquidity and how you guys also target MTOs to try to get on and off ramps and different things like that?
Yeah, great question. So Stellar is a payment network. And what we try and do is we try and solve the problem of cross-border payments. So if someone wants to send US dollars to Philippines in the form of Filipino peso, there needs to be a market maker who's willing to buy the dollars and sell the pesos. And the sender can run the path payment operation that says that they want to send $100 and have the receiver receive it in pesos. Stellar has an on-chain order book. And what's going to happen as a result of that path payment operation is that the payer's account is going to, in the on-chain fashion, consume the asks against the USD PHP market and convert their money from dollars to pesos, and then effectively use those pesos in an atomic operation to pay the receiver. Um, and there's various such payment corridors that need liquidity on the Stellar Decentralized Exchange. So that's a good opportunity for liquidity providers to come in and fill that gap. Um, that is one of the advantages of having an on-chain order book is that you can solve problems like this where you have atomic operations that are that reach consensus across the entire network. I think one of the things to think about when you're trading on the Stellar Decentralized Exchange is that we do have a 5-second ledger post time. So in comparison to many other blockchains, that is significantly faster. But when you have trading needs on a 5-second ledger, you have to think slightly differently about trading on centralized exchanges, for example, where you could do multiple trades um, per time tick, basically. Um, yeah. So yeah, there's another question. Could I use this bot to trade the price difference between Kraken and Binance automatically? Yes, that's a great question. So the mirror trading template that we discussed on the trading templates page allows you to, in essence, take the order book from, in this case, let's just say Binance, mirror the order book onto Kraken, and then you would basically be placing maker orders on Kraken. And anytime someone consumes any of your offers on Kraken, the bot would register that trade using the trade API and turn around and do the exact same operation that was done against it on Binance, therefore hedging its position and offsetting any of the assets that it had either bought or sold, therefore maintaining as close to an asset neutral position as might be possible. So it therefore takes advantage of the price differential between Kraken and Binance. And one of the advantages of doing it this way, as opposed to doing a direct arb strategy, is that when you're doing this against a less liquid exchange, say, for example, like the Stellar Decentralized Exchange in comparison to Binance, those ARB opportunities don't exist unless someone is placing those maker offers, which is then a standing offer for someone to consume, which it can then take advantage of by turning around and going to Binance and consuming the available top or bid or ask. Let's see. So one of the questions is, are there any recommendations to learn about exchanges? So I think in general, I would say just play around with various exchanges, start click trading on them first. And then as you feel comfortable trading on those exchanges, maybe if you feel comfortable enough, try to run a trading bot, if that's what your question is asking. I think it's always important to say that you should be careful about which exchanges you run, keep your assets on and all of that stuff, and be careful about crypto in general. And it's not your keys, not your coins.
Yeah. I think they were asking about like exchange APIs and how to get started with trading bots. To like any good resources around that.
Yeah, so I think a very good resource is the CCXD REST API in itself. They provide a standardized API to various crypto exchanges. But then keep in mind that is one layer in between your bot and the actual exchange API. So you could go to any exchange's website and see their API and learn more about that as well, if you're interested in the API side of things. So there's one question about the CCXD API, and did I experience any issues with it working with different exchanges, as the exchange API is still different? So yes, there was some issues that I faced. So one of the bigger issues was the precision value of the order sizes and the amounts that you can place on various exchanges. And that is not something that stays up to date with CCXC, primarily because it changes quite often on exchanges as well. So one of the configurations that we have in Kelp to overcome this is an override value that you can set. So the CCXC API gives you a amount precision and a price precision value that you can use by default. So Kelp pulls that in first, and then in the configuration file, if you specify an override for that value, Kelp is going to use that value throughout the bot. So in cases where there are differences, like say, for example, as Coinbase has a different authentication mechanism compared to other exchanges. So we have that built into Kelp as well, which we then provide as infrastructure. So any similar exchange that has a dynamic, like sign your payload before you send it to the exchange type of request is available to all the exchanges if we find a second one that has similar requirements. So yeah, to answer that question a little more directly, there are certainly differences, but with the Kelp trading bot, what I've tried to do is keep the interface for the user of the bot same regardless of what exchange they're using. Yeah, so on the question of are we planning to create a more user-friendly platform, 100% yes. So we have the graphical user interface that is currently experimental. So you can see a screenshot of that. And let's see. So if we go to the Kelp repo, here's a screenshot of the Kelp GUI. And you can also download it from in the releases section. We have the nightly builds. So we have the latest release of the Kelp GUI. So you can get this for, again, Mac, Linux, or Windows. Can the bot automatically rebalance between exchanges? That's a great question. That is not a feature that we have currently. But that is one of the next features that is on our list of things to add to make the process of the mirror trading templates a little more automatic.
Hey, Nikhil, so we're actually out of time. We need to transition. Do you have any final thoughts, words?
Yeah, I would say definitely take some time to look at the Kelp trading bot if you're into automated trading. And you can reach me on Twitter at Nikhil Saraf 9. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Nikhil. This is great.